Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm going to be reviewing the most recent novels that I have completed in the Book Trek 2024 reading event. This is an event that is taking place throughout the summer, June, July, and August, during which we are invited to read Star Trek fiction. This event is being hosted by Vin at Revenant Reads, and he is ably assisted by a whole crew whose names I will list in the notes below. In addition to reading Star Trek fiction during the summer months, we are also invited to participate in two away missions. Mission 1. Read a non-fiction science book, and Mission 2, read a book about Star Trek, biography, production, history, Trek-related books, etc. So far, I've read 4 novels from the original series, a series that I watched in the 1960s when it was a new show. Last week, I talked about 2 Star Trek novels by Vonda and McIntyre. The Entropy Effect and the novelization of the movie, Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. This week, I read Vonda and McIntyre's prequel, Star Trek Enterprise, The First Adventure, and I also read a more recent addition to the original Star Trek collection, and this is Christopher L. Bennett's Living Memory. First, McIntyre's Star Trek Enterprise. This book was published in 1986, exactly 20 years after the original Star Trek TV series debuted in 1966. It is billed as the prequel to the entire Star Trek story. This novel offers at least one version, and I'm told there are actually several other books which also purport to tell the backstory. But this tells one version of how a very young Captain Kirk comes to be the commander of the Enterprise. We meet all of the characters from the original series: Kirk, Spock, Scotty, McCoy, Sulu, Uhura, a younger version of all of them. And we learn how it is that they all came to be together on the Enterprise for the first time. Kirk, we are told, is the youngest man ever to be promoted to the rank of captain in Federation history. The young crew that he meets on the Enterprise do not like him one bit. Spock was hoping to continue to serve under Christopher Pike. Sulu wants to transfer to another ship altogether. Kirk overhears Scotty talking, and this is at a party to install him in Kirk in his position. He overhears Scotty talking at this party about how inexperienced Kirk is. So basically, nobody likes Kirk and nobody has any respect for him. The first mission of the Enterprise is to host a troupe of vaudevillian actors as they tour various bases in an attempt to boost morale. The troupe of actors is led by one Amalinda, or Lindy as she comes to be known, Lucarian, who is something of a master magician. And she has a horse, a flying horse, or rather an equiraptor named Athena. The troupe is also joined by a young blonde-haired Vulcan named Stephen, who is a juggler and a seeker of emotional thrills. We also find out eventually that Stephen is Spock's cousin. I really like Vonda McIntyre's writing, but this book seemed a little silly. Just as the crew thinks this mission is sort of beneath them, to be traipsing around the galaxy with traveling actors and entertainers, so too did I as a reader. I liked the whole part about the crew, not liking Kirk at first and not seeing him as being ready to be the captain. I thought there was a lot of potential for that, and I fully expected there to be, various trials and tribulations that they would go through, during which Kirk would eventually prove himself. I liked that storyline. So he would eventually prove himself and gain the respect of this crew. That was fine. But some of the subplots, some of the subplots enabled Kirk to prove himself, including a Klingon warrior woman who goes rogue and commandeers a new warship. And then there are also encounters with these very strange but very advanced aliens who can't communicate with the crew of the Enterprise. All of these subplots are, various tests of Kirk and ways that he, proves that he is up to the task. But this central plot, revolving around this troupe of vaudevillian actors and circus performers, taking them to their various gigs while dealing with a flying horse on board. It seemed a little ridiculous at times. I don't know enough about the Star Wars literature to know where this novel really fits in terms of the general lore, or if it fits in at all. Brandy at the Booklectic assures me that there are other alternate prequels, other alternate versions of the backstory as to how this original crew met. I just felt like the version that we were encountering in this book seemed beneath the dignity of the original Enterprise crew. While I may have found the Enterprise, the prequel story, to be lacking, I was absolutely blown away by the next Star Trek book that I read. I decided to try one of the newer books in the original series. Instead of, I've been reading all these very old Star Trek books, and I thought, let me see what's happening, with the writers who are writing these stories today. So I chose Christopher L. Bennett. This novel was published in 2021. The novel builds on something that happened in the original Star Trek TV series. In the third episode of the second season, so we're talking about 1967, there was an episode called The Changeling. In that episode, Uhura has a devastating encounter with the Nomad probe, which completely erases her memory. What happens is that Uhura is singing. She's working on the bridge and she's singing. And the Nomad hears her and enters the bridge and wants to know what this sound is and what its purpose is. What meaning does it have? So she tells the probe that this is singing, that this is music. So the probe tells her to think about music, and it probes into her brain. However, it completely erases her memory. This event in the TV series is never fully explored. We see that the crew teaches her about the things that she will need in order to function on the Enterprise, to be a member of the crew. But her entire past has been wiped out. All of her memories, all of her knowledge of her family and friends and everything that happened in the past has been wiped out. And it's never addressed again in the series. So Bennett, in this newer novel, decides to build his plot around that devastating thing that happened to her in the past, in the TV series, in the original TV show. So we learn in the new novel that there are these strange phenomena occurring throughout space. They refer to them as vacuum flares, and they cause incredible damage wherever they occur, including killing lots of people when they land on planets. So the crew, in exploring these phenomena, are trying to figure out where they are coming from, what's causing them, what the purpose is, what they mean, and they gradually determine that these flares seem to be following the route of the Enterprise over a period of several years in reverse order. Upon further investigation, they learn that more specifically, these flares are occurring on planets where Uhura visited from the Enterprise, where she left the Enterprise and visited various planets. That's where these phenomena are occurring. So her past actions are somehow linked to these strange events, these strange new dangers that are occurring. The central problem, however, is that Uhura can't remember anything from her past. So her mission to recover her lost past becomes a central part of the plot. It's both her personal mission and an essential part of solving the mystery of these treacherous vacuum flares. I don't want to spoil anything here, so I'm not going to say much more about this storyline in the plot. I will just say that Uhura's link to this phenomena of the vacuum flares threatening everyone is absolutely brilliant. The storyline in the novel's plot, this storyline, is thoroughly captivating and deeply moving. There's another storyline in the novel as well, dealing with Admiral Kirk, who is serving as the chief administrator of Starfleet Academy. He's dealing with something new. He's dealing with the admission to the Academy of a group of elite soldiers known as the War-born, and they are from the planet Arcturus. These elite soldiers have been genetically engineered and specifically bred to be elite warriors for Arcturus. The very existence of the War-born, a race that has been engineered and raised for the purpose of being soldiers, brings up many interesting ethical questions that the novel considers. If this novel has any weakness, and really this is an incredibly strong and engaging novel, if there is a weakness, it is that this subplot about the War-born at the Academy is never fully linked to the larger story of Uhura and her efforts to recover her past. But on the whole, I absolutely loved this novel, and I am definitely going to look for additional works by Christopher L. Bennett. So that's my review for this week of my latest reading of Star Trek novels. As always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.